everyone. Sorry, you caught me a little off guard there. I was trying to get this ring light to work. Piece of crap. Can't get it to work. So hello. I need to maybe pull up where comments would be. I'm only on one screen right now, and that makes it a little difficult for me. Let me know if my sound is good. That would be wonderful. And comments. There we go. Okay. Hey, Dave, how you doing? So I've got a bunch of clips that are left over to go over that I figured I would do some get ready with me's because I'm going to do some more recording tonight and I'd like to put my face on. But this lighting is so terrible. That's why I was trying to set up the ring light because, oh my God, I look like a bridge troll in this lighting. And Zach, no, I don't always do Dave Smith clips. It's just I had a backlog of them. I go on binges and I've been listening to Dave a lot, so I've got a lot of Dave Smith clips, but sometimes I go on binges of other people. Usually I don't listen to libertarians, so most of my clips are usually non-libertarians. But lately, I've been listening to a lot of Dave Smith. I've been going on a binge. So I need to pull up my scene window here so that I can start this up. So are y'all ready? I'm ready. Let's go.
I'm not a fan of democracy. I don't care about democracy. I care about freedom. Democracy means nothing to me. Democracy is, in my opinion, like truly a vessel. I mean, it is whatever the people make it, you could vote for really great policies. If 90% of the people all believed in the correct policies, then yeah, democracy would be great. But if they don't, then it's terrible. And that's closer to the world we're living in.
Okay. When I don't listen to libertarians often, as I said. So when I heard that, because I don't listen to libertarians a lot, and I guess I don't listen like even to what I say myself a lot. I heard that and I was like, how do I even put it? I was like, it's so rare to hear somebody say they're not a fan of democracy. I'm not a fan of democracy. So I'm not saying like I was shocked or anything like that, or that I disagree. I'm not a fan of any political system other than individual sovereignty. But it still pulls you up short when someone dares to say it, in such a matter-of-fact way. So I was like, yes, I guess I'm listening to leftists too much because hearing libertarian things kind of like makes me go, whoa, did he just say that out loud? So yeah, I like that clip for that reason. And we may have a couple other clips to do on the show if we get through the Dave Smith ones quickly, because I couldn't even remember which ones I queued up. And if they're all as short as that one, we're going to be done pretty quickly. And or I'll just have a quick show, or I'll queue up another one and come back on live. I don't know. I'm trying to just really catch up with the backlog. So let's see what the next one is.
If you could save 1,000 people's lives, but you had to give up music, would you do it? And not just like you have to give up music, like humanity has to give up music. There's no more music for the rest of time, but you save 1,000 people's lives for doing it. Would you do it? And all I'll say is to pretend that that's an easy question is wrong. It's actually not that easy, because right away you're like, man, 1,000 lives, that means a lot. I mean, that's somebody's parent or child or friend or whatever, that really means something. But giving up music forever, that is a huge part of meaning in existence. Like music is really something. It's a force that's hard to describe. It's hard to put into words what music means. You know what I mean? Or just give up art, to make it more general or something like that. In fact, the more you think about it, it would almost seem kind of insane to save those 1,000 people. and then the rest of humanity just gives up music or gives up art, you know? I mean, like, 1,000 people are, that's horrible, but we've lost lots of people in the history of humanity and we always bounce back. But to give up like art, I don't know. Look, I don't know. I don't even know what the answer is, but the point is that it's something to think about.
Okay. I love that philosophical little exercise there. And obviously, the context was the COVID restrictions, where we're being asked to, well, we're not even being asked, are we? That was the wrong way to put it. We're being forced to give up our freedoms, allegedly for the sake of other people. And of course, I don't believe in any such thing as positive rights, so that automatically is incorrect. But a lot of us would voluntarily give up things to save people. I believe people are inherently good and we want to help people. But how far does that go? That was a very interesting question. And if you even put it on such an existential level as give up art or give up music, there's people whose lives are saved by having art and music, that those things are part of being human. And there are people with certain emotional issues or mental issues, or just that's how they're fulfilled in life. Do you say that humanity has to give up that for this? I think he's actually right that that would be insane. But it's an interesting question because some people are making the argument of anything, no matter what it is worth giving up for this abstract sense of life. But I don't think that's true. And I'm not even talking about necessarily for any particular person's life. I just mean life in general. Is freedom worth giving up for life? Is that really life? I think that's the ultimate question. Dave says lost signal on YouTube. I'll have to check that out. Not anything I can do about that. I guess YouTube might be having a glitch because this is just going out. I don't know if maybe my internet glitched. So there are some questions here. Let me see if I could put this up on screen. Zach asked, would I clarify what form of government I would prefer to democracy? Self-government. It's the only one that's valid. Everything else suffers from the inherent fatal flaw of political authority. There's no political authority without consent. And self-government means that you can consent to a different form. And to each person, that might be something different. But it's funny. I was having this discussion with my husband the other night. We have some wonderful, and I'm saying wonderful somewhat facetiously because I get really frustrated, wonderful debates on anarchy, because he's not an anarchist and I am. And, it gets pretty interesting, but we were talking about democracy actually, and I said it's interesting that the Declaration of Independence says that government exists by the consent of the governed. And I said, well, here we are. I don't consent. Now what? Now what? It doesn't say by consent of the majority of the governed. It says by the governed. I'm a governed, and I don't consent. Now what? It's funny that we live by this fiction, that this is somehow consent of the government because a majority voted. That's not consent. We would know that in a sexual situation, wouldn't we? If a majority of a room full of people said it was okay to rape another person, but she said no, it's her no that counts, isn't it? How is it any different? I mean, literally, how is it any different? You can say, oh, that's because it's her body. You don't think government infringes upon our body? Takes a certain percentage of my wages? So that's a form of slavery. It's just insane that we live in this fantasy world. And I was actually came across this clip when I was trying to find a different clip by Dave, and I keep asking for someone to help me with this, it was within the past month where Dave was talking about the potential of election fraud. And he had said that the reason this idea is so dangerous is because we've lived in the mythology, that valid elections somehow make all of this okay, somehow legitimizes all of this. And he called the myth or the mythology of valid elections the get out of anarchy free card. And when he said that, I nearly pissed my pants laughing. That was freaking great. The get out of anarchy free card. And he's like, the illusion has been shattered. The god has been proven to be a worthless idol, and the emperor has no clothes. Now what? Getting my foundation on here. Man, this lighting is so shitty. I can't stand it. It's not so bad like here where I'm looking in my mirror, but on the screen, I'm like, oh my God, that's terrible. Okay, let's see what last clip that we have, because I only had 3. And maybe I'll queue up some more and come back on live. Just not pre-scheduled. They'll just come on spontaneously with some more Liberty Boudoir. But here we go.
And not just go, you know what? We're just going to deal with it. We're just going to deal with the risk of a virus with a 99% survival rate. We're just going to deal with it. It sucks. No one likes it. But you know what? You can't give up everything in life. The fact that we don't have the strength to have a super majority of the population feel that way is I don't know. It's to say disturbing is just a huge understatement. It's like devastating.
Okay, getting powdered, and that was, I thought I had more than that, but so that was just the remainder of the Dave Smith quotes I have, or clips, but I'm actually going to have a few more because I was listening to him today, and there was some great things on the show today about the storming of the Capitol thing. I might clip them out. I don't know. Sometimes I say, do I want to? Because I'm not so sure if that's a subject I want to address or not right now. I think it's kind of been talked to death. But since I've got a lot of makeup, and I do have more clips, I am probably going to queue up some more. But let me see if there are any comments going on. Let me take down this mirror so I can see my screen easily. Pull up comments. So, yeah, YouTube went down. That is really, really weird. I will have to check that out. Thank you, everyone. That's not anything on my end. No, democracy is not self-government, Zach. Democracy is 50% kind of, sort of self-governing in a way, but it's foisted upon them. I don't consent, so no, not at all. And if you think that, you haven't thought it through, because you really haven't dealt with the fact that I don't consent. And plenty of us do not consent. I actually think democracy is on its in its death throes, that it's been proven to be a false god. That I don't know what the next form is going to be. I'm hoping it's more anarchic, but who knows? But as monarchy was in its waning days a couple 100 years ago, I think we're now seeing the waning days of the illusion of democracy. Let's see here. Daniel, I'm terrible with last names, so please forgive me. Woik says, would you agree that technically Christians can't be anarchist, at least in the sense of no rulers? Of course, no other person has authority over us without our consent. I don't believe anarchy necessarily means no rulers in the way you're using it. To me, the ultimate, if you have choice over your own will and your own destiny and all of that, you can voluntarily set aside anything, any right that you have, or you can make choices. So I would hold that anarchy is actually no unchosen rulers, that you're not truly free if you can't choose a ruler if you want one. So in the same sense, I don't know if you're a Christian. I'm assuming you are by the question, maybe not. I am. I can give you a good analogy. Christians believe in the Trinity, and they believe that Christ was fully God and fully man. If you're familiar with that passage in Holy Crap, was it Thessalonians, where it talks about how Christ, crap, I'm totally losing the Greek word, but basically he laid aside the privileges. It was the emptying, right? Laying aside the privileges of divinity in order to become fully human. He still had those rights. He could take them up again at any time. But he laid them aside and didn't lose his divinity by laying them aside, because what is it to be divine? And I'd say the same thing. What is it to be a free human? You can lay aside any I think it was called kenosis, is the laying aside or the emptying of himself. That's the theological term, where it says Christ became of no account for us. So why can't we, if we have ownership of our rights, be able to voluntarily lay any of them aside? And in fact, I would say that's what I have done. I have a religious view of pacifism. It's not a political view. It's strictly a religious view. Now, do I inherently have the right to lethal self-defense? Absolutely. But I also have the right to lay it aside. And so I don't view that any differently. So I would be much more nuanced about my definition of anarchy as no unchosen rulers. And are they and then actually a ruler? That's a whole other thing. That's kind of I kind of get into that a bit, not that subject, but an analogous subject in my video about does libertarianism permit voluntary slavery? It's a very interesting philosophical video if you haven't seen it. At least I think so. But of course, that sounds kind of weird telling you my own video is interesting. It sounds kind of conceited. So, all right, let's see if there's any further here. All right, that is it, I think, for the little bit of Dave Smith. I'll be editing this a bit, and I'll put it up separately. Since it went down, I'll want it up there. And I'll queue up a few more clips. I have actually this video that I clipped out from this guy. He wasn't being entirely serious, but basically the title of the video is "The Libertarian Party is an Embarrassment!" exclamation point. So I wanted to do that. And hello, One-Eyed Heathen. Yeah, we're actually finishing up, but I'm coming back on. I didn't realize I only had a few clips to go over, so I'm going to queue up some more. And because I only got my makeup half on, you can't have half my makeup on, right? And we'll come back probably in like 10 minutes. So I'll see you all in a bit. Let me close this out.
You gotta take what you're given, that's how we live it. Don't be mad at the system, it's simply how we've existed. I hear a lot of people talking like they politicians and choose to be an accountant because it's safe in the business, not because they want to do it. You gotta take what you're given, that's how we live it. Don't be mad at the system, it's simply how we've existed. I hear a lot of people talking like they politicians and choose to be an accountant because it's safe in the business, not because they want to do it.